We're live, ladies.
Boom, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We are live. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. What a crazy, crazy fucking event this was. BKFC Knucklemania. I cannot wait to break this down and just talk about it. My blood is still pumping from this fight, from this night. Brian Maxwell, Tom Schoaf, they're here doing the show with me. I can't say thank you enough. Some of this stuff was kind of last minute. So, gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Right off the bat, what's your gut check reaction off of this card?
Man, fucking lit. I wish I was there. Like somebody called me. Somebody called me. What I was telling you a few minutes ago about some fight news, but somebody called me while at the fights. A very important person called me at the fights, and I could hear everything in the background, and that shit sounded so lit. Like I wish I would have got to go down, but unfortunately, due to my job, I had to stay here. But that shit sounded like it was awesome. I wish I could have been there, man. Like, from watching it sitting here at home was dope as fuck. Like, I'm not disappointed at that fight card at all. Not one fight I'm disappointed in, but we'll get into that when we start talking about these fights.
100%. Yeah, Tim, great night of fights. Tom, what was your gut reaction?
Honestly, man, I think this was the first card that I've watched that I had nothing really negative to say. And that goes for, I'm going to sound like a piece of shit right now, but anyway, I'm going to say it anyway. That goes for like production. That goes for production value as well as like the fights themselves. Like, everybody came to fight tonight. Everybody came out to fight. Yeah. Even the guys who you could tell like really didn't want to be there, they still stuck it out and ate a few more than they wanted to because like it was a night to do it. Everybody came out to fight. And the production value, like, I don't know if they brought in a new telecast crew. I don't know if they hired a new event coordinator. I don't know what they did, but
it was definitely top notch.
The show itself looked fantastic. Like, I messaged Dave probably 30 minutes into the show, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, the show looks great. Like, I don't know what you guys did, but it looks awesome. Keep it up. I'll talk to you guys soon." So on and so forth. So yeah, like that. My first reaction was, it was great. I have zero issues with tonight's show.
My first bare knuckle event, and I'm hooked. Tim, well, I tell you what, brother, you couldn't have picked a better time to join in. You couldn't have picked a better event. Welcome to the crazy bare knuckle, family now. So yes,
welcome.
Right,
you're going to be hooked. You're going to be hooked. It's an amazing sport. I was hooked too. I still love MMA and I talk about it all the time, but man, oh man, oh man, Baron, it's just different. It just hits different, right? That shit just hits different.
Yeah, man, it hits super different. Like it's an awesome feeling. Like, even the very first show before I even got interested in bare knuckle was like, I was like, holy shit, this shit is like so different and so like, like they need to do Knucklemania once a year.
They like WrestleMania. They really should.
Yes. Yeah. Yep, so Dave Feldman, whenever you watch this, I came up with the idea. We need to have Knucklemania every year.
Every year. Let's roll it. Every year.
Yes. All right. I'm going to jump on your bandwagon and say, all right, but the Knucklemania of 2021 should have had at least one of the fighters from the fight of the year from 2020 on it. I mean,
I agree.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
I agree.
I'm just going to say it.
I agree. Which, by the way, Knuckle Up Awards, that would be Fight of the Year was Tom Schoaf and Joe Elmore voted on by the fans. That was completely voted on by the people. So 100%.
Big ups for that.
Well, guys, do me a favor. If you're watching, please, it helps the algorithm, whatever that is. That's what they tell me, all the fancy wording. It helps the algorithm in the stream. If you smash the like button while this is live, just please hit the button, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. It helps us out, helps everybody see us. We appreciate it so much.
You hit the like button, I'll rip the bull.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, and share that shit.
Fantastic Vo, another bare knuckle fighter. Joey Angelo, my man.
Joey, what's up, dog?
Van. What up, Joey?
Man.
What up, Joey? What up, homie?
Zion, Matt. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Zion? I'll be seeing Zion in a couple days.
There you go.
We do our normal weekly sparring sessions on Sundays.
Yeah. Punch him in his face.
Well, I guess let's get to it, fellas. So
break it down, Bubba.
Let's break this down a little bit. So of course, the first prelim fight, and I don't want to detail every single fight because otherwise that would take us like 3 hours to detail every one.
Hey, bro, I got notes.
I do want to lightly touch on just a little bit of all the fights. He said. V at least says do one more hit. One more
hit that shit.
All right. So Jared Grant defeats Brandon Lambert via KO 10 count at 1 minute 11 seconds of round number 3. So this was Jared Grant. This was his third fight coming in, and Brandon Lambert was making his debut. Brandon was, he was making a lot of noise on social media,
talking all kinds of shit.
He was talking a lot of stuff, and his background was Muay Thai, lived in Thailand, and I don't know what the record is, but that was his background, but no like professional fights as far as like boxing, MMA, anything like that, at least here in the States.
I'm very disappointed in that fight, to say the least. I'm so disappointed. There was a lot of talking and no action. There was a lot of talk and no action. But, shout out to Brandon Lambert. He stepped in there. Any person that steps in there, you're a warrior. But, no, this is not being harsh to Brandon. But, there was a lot of talk and no action. And, hey, it is what it is. Step back, get back to the drawing board and come back stronger, my man. That fight was that was my disappointment of the night, was that fight. But, I'm just being brutally honest before anybody else said it. I'm not trying to talk shit to him or talk shit about him, but that fight was a lot of talking and no action.
Thompson, don't worry about it. Talking shit.
Talk your shit. What the fuck? Let him know. Hey, you need to punch a motherfucker in the face. Like I try to punch a motherfucker in the face. Just talk your shit. Like you have a standard, you have an expectation, and as well as I do, as well as anybody in the fight community knows. If you come with that much nonsense, if you bring that much bullshit to the fucking table, you better have something to back it up. And he didn't back it up one fucking bit. He spent the entire night running around dancing, looking for the quickest opportunity to get the fuck out of there. Talk your shit.
I mean, we'll
hit on that. We'll hit on that Johnny Bedford fight later. But please continue.
Calm down,
please
bro.
Continue.
I mean, like I said, there was a lot of talk and no action in that fight, and I was excited to see that fight. Like it. I felt like it was other than the VanZant fight, I felt like it was the second most hype fight on the card. And, as soon as they start calling both of those guys out, I was like, oh, shit, this fight's about to be lit. Somebody's about to get fucked up. Oh, my God, it's going to be sparks during this fight. And then I was like, oh, wow.
All right, well, let me ask you this, because I try to stay away from opinions when it comes to, like fighting ability. Because, again, I'm not a fucking fighter, but you guys are. So you guys can have that opinion, okay? Would you want to see Brandon Lambert again in the squared circle, or is this a one and done?
I want to see Brandon Lambert fight Rick Caruso. You heard it here first. That's what I want to see.
Okay, Tom.
I mean, do I want to see him personally? No. Have I seen people put on worse performances and still come back and do okay? Yeah. So, like, can I immediately count Brandon out? No. But do I personally want to see him? No. Not interested.
Okay. I guess let's go ahead and move on from that fight. Next fight up, Travis Thompson defeats David Morgan. David Morgan making his bare knuckle debut. Travis Thompson is a bare knuckle veteran, man. He won via TKO. The fighter, Dave he didn't want to continue. Couldn't do any more. 22 seconds of round number 2 is all it took for that. Man, Travis, now he's this brings him up to 3-3. The dude has been there, since the fucking beginning. The dude is just nasty. Fought. I mean, think about this too. Let's put this into play. You saw the Datwin and Johnny Bedford. Travis Thompson fought Datwin on like 4 or 3 fucking days notice and went the distance with him. That should speak to you, especially knowing that how Dat performed against Johnny, how tough fucking Travis is, to go in there 3-4 days notice and take him that full distance. I was glad to see, Travis get that W tonight.
Facts. Like,
what
shout
are
out
your guys'
to Travis,
thoughts on
man.
that?
Travis showed the fuck out tonight. Like this Travis tonight was a Travis that I hadn't seen yet. Like, Travis brought a different version and better version of himself out tonight. Like, Travis, he's a shit talker. He's one of the biggest shit talkers I've ever seen in a while, but he backs it up. And tonight, Travis was just on a different level. Like, this was the best Travis Thompson since I met him at BKFC 2 that I've seen. Like, shout out to Travis, man. He showed up and showed the fuck out. He did everything he said he was going to do. He said he was going to be on kill mode, and that's what he did, man. Like, hey, Morgan, he fired off his shots, but Travis, I'm telling you, Travis was just a different person tonight. So, like I said, shout out to Travis, man. Congrats, my brother.
He's one of those dudes that I like a lot of people, man. He works full time. He owns like his own landscaping company or construction company or something, so like I believe this fight was the first one. I could be wrong, but I think it was the first one where he actually had like a full camp. He's been in Florida, he's from Philly area, Pennsylvania, like Pottstown or whatever. He's been down in Florida, I think, for like the past 2 months or something, just fucking training, just grinding. So I'm glad to see him, down there and get it in, man. Like I said, I'm happy for Travis, just being the vet. This one was, I hate to, I don't like for things to get personal, but I was happy.
Let him get personal.
Yeah, I was happy for Travis.
I really enjoyed seeing Travis win tonight. I really did. We all know Travis has been there from the beginning. He always puts out. If there's one word to define him, it is heart. And tonight he came out and he performed well and he got the W. If I could make one critique, we saw the same Travis that we always see, just a more amplified version of that Travis. What I would like to see out of Travis is like a more intelligent Travis, somebody who picks his shots and sets things up and doesn't just kind of run in and be an animal. I want to see him be just a little more technical. That's not to say that he wasn't technical tonight. It's just to say that I want to see more out of him.
Fair enough. Once again, guys, please, real quick, I see a lot of you people tuning in. Please smash the like button, smash the share button. It helps us out. It helps raise it in the YouTube algorithm. Like I said, that's what the smart people tell me. So I'm just kind of repeating it. I don't know all that technical shit.
Like it, subscribe, click the bell. I hear it every fucking YouTube video.
Hold on, Jeff. Jeff Houston, you are live on speakerphone. We're live doing a post-fight show. What's up, my man?
Hey,
Jeff.
he butt dialed you, bro.
Yeah, he pocket dialed you, bro.
Mr. Live Worldwide just butt dialed me. Whatever.
Hey, that's
Anyway,
a book of world record.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. So, Taylor Starling versus Teresa Segala. Wow, this was the first fight on the main card. Taylor Starling won via unanimous decision. What a fucking fight! What a fucking fight! Both these guys both of these ladies making their debut. I don't know how much more you could have asked from two people making their debut.
No, absolutely not. Start to finish, I think that we knew that Taylor had the game plan of being longer, being taller, kind of picking her shots, playing the range, and Segala. Yeah. We heard in the pre-fight commentary that she expected her to start fast and kind of die out early, die out in the later rounds.
Terry Brazil, what's up, brother?
All of those fights, or I should say all of those rounds, were the fight that you would expect to see. You know, like they, from start to finish, came out in every round and just put it on the table. It was it was almost painful to watch. I'll just put it that way. What? Come here.
What'd you think, Brian?
Hey, look, for real. Hey, shout out to Terry Brazil. He's one of my sponsors. So what's up, Terry? But man, that fight right there, that first fight, you know, that set the tone for the night. I don't even care about the prelims before that. Like that fight being the first fight of the night set the tone. Those girls came out swinging, and hey, man, they did their thing, man. You know, everybody pays attention to the women's fights, and you know, all eyes are always on the women's fights, and those two ladies like set the fucking tone for the night. And I'm glad they made that the first fight of the fight of the card, man. Like that was awesome. Like.
Oh, are you reading that?
Oh, man. Angel Ortiz. Oh, is that how you feel? Hey, look, I'm cutting weight, brother. I look how I hate to be cutting weight, man. Come on now. But, yeah, man, that fight set the tone for the night. It was awesome. Like that fight was, like, what it should have been. Like, that was fucking that shit had me lit here in the living room, man. Like, I was going ham for that fight. Like, I was like, oh, I'm sitting here bobbing and weaving and shit, and that was an awesome fight. So that was dope. So I'm glad that was the very first fight to set the tone for the night. So that's what's up. Shout out to those ladies.
100%. Yeah. Shout out to them. And somebody brought up, I know the Stephen A. Smith thing where he was, you know, talking about female MMA and he didn't want to see it, females fighting, blah, blah, blah.
Who gives a fuck what Stephen A.
Exactly. Dude, show him this shit like that. That was a prime example. Hell, really, man, if you want to be that fight, the Britton Page fight, and obviously the Datwin Johnny Bedford fight, 3 of the best fights on the card, 2 of them are women fights.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that speaks fucking volumes. Next up, Dylan Kleckler defeats Chris Jensen. This was the big boys, the heavyweights. Beat him in 34 seconds. KO. He couldn't answer the 10 count. 34 seconds of the first round. This one was pretty straightforward. Dylan Kleckler just looked like a fucking monster. He just looked like a goddamn machine going in there, just jacked up and just I think this was the one where it was the body shot, if I'm not mistaken. Dylan Kleckler took him down with a body shot, and that was it, man. That one was pretty straightforward. Next one, Ham Ghazali. I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's Ham Ghazali defeats John McAllister. Again, KO, couldn't answer the 10 count. This was in the second round, 1 minute, 8 seconds.
Yeah, man, I thought McAllister looked better than the last time we saw him. Like I was like, oh wow, like McAllister came out to fight this time. Like, okay, cool. Like he's coming out. But then like he just quit. Like it was the same guy we saw the last time. Like it made it into the second round, and I felt like he was looking for an excuse to get out. Not to take anything away from Gasali, like he came out and he weathered the early storm because McAllister came out to fight in the first round.
Yeah.
He came, like he weathered the storm. He came out and he was able to get the finish, and I'm happy for him. But I think the moral of that fight was McAllister kind of quit. Like he didn't want to fight anymore, unfortunately.
What is he now? Let me go to Knucklepedia.com.
Knucklepedia. Let's fucking plug that real quick.
So, unfortunately, that makes John McAllister now 0-5 for his bare knuckle record. That's
bro,
tough.
I'm not even that bad.
Me neither, but hey. I mean, he shows up. But hey, for real, I thought he was gonna get the upset in the first round.
He was.
For real, that's what I'm saying. Like he came out to fight in the first round. It was like, all right, like this is a new John McAllister, I think it's John. But anyway, this is a new McAllister. And then the second round came out, and he took like 2 shots, and was like, no, and it turned into a different fight. So.
I think that's like a mental thing, in my opinion, because, like I said, man, I thought he was going to perform the upset of the night, and then that second round, it was like, oh shit, he got hit, and it was like, oh shit, he had his oh shit moment.
Maybe that's what it was. Is he had that idea that he was going to go in and create that upset, and it didn't work. So when he came out in the second round and took that heavy shot, it was just. Everything just crumbled for him. You might be onto something. I don't have a clue.
Let me ask you guys something. I was gonna say, let me ask you guys' opinion on this. Just and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but John McAllister, the guy, he's 0-5 now. What do you think is next for him at this point? Like, do you think and as respectfully as possible, do you say, hey, man, maybe the bare knuckle game isn't for you? Or is this just kind of like, well, I mean, the dude does fucking show up. Like, like it's not a matter of, not showing up. Dude fucking shows up every time. But I don't know. What do you guys, think about that?
I'm going to have to say, if you show up but don't win, chances are there's a problem in your camp. So you need to get your camp figured out. You need to figure out what the fuck's going on in your home life, in your personal life, in your camp life. You need to figure out what the interruption is that is causing you to mentally lapse. And I can tell you that from firsthand experience. I've had stellar winning streaks. And then hiccups and ups and downs and so on and so forth. And then recently, the streak that I'm on. And I can tell you that a lot of that comes from mental clarity. It comes from being in a position where you are completely comfortable and everything around you is stable. And you can go out there and perform to the best of your abilities. Maybe he's not in that position, and maybe it's not necessarily a thing that he's doing consciously. Maybe he's subconsciously putting himself in a shitty situation.
If I may, and again, as respectfully as possible, like I'll just put this example out there. In my, my mind, my fans' mind here, my analyst mind here, say, I just take you for example, Tom, right? And is there a difference though between like you've had some tough fucking fights and you've been in there the whole time for every single fight you've had, win or lose, you're in there the entire time, versus say somebody who it just seems like first round, second round, like it just seems like he kind of just says, you know what? I don't really want to be here. And I'm not, maybe that's not the case. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm far off. But
if we want to get specific, we can get specific. What I think that comes down to touch on Brian, in the psychological situation, everybody wants to be the tough guy. Everybody wants to be the cool guy. Everybody wants to be the fucking badass. We're not all built for it. We're not all bred for it. We're not all meant to do it. And to be frank and to be completely fucking honest, the ones who do it, the ones who are in that situation, suffer far more than I think a lot of people realize. So to get back on Mr. McAllister, I think he wants to be a tough guy. I think he wants to be that bad motherfucker. But I think in his heart, I think in the deep, soft cushion that is his interior, he knows he's just soft and he can't handle it. And so at the first opportunity to say, I quit, he will. And that's okay. That's fine. But try to go do jujitsu. Go do something else. Like, this is not a sport where you can fuck around and find out. It's not. Like, you're going to get damaged. You're going to get hurt. Things are going to happen. You're 0-5. Try something else. That's my stance.
Hey, very well said, for real. Like based on experience, like, you know, like my coach says, every man's story is different. And, you know, I've had my skid, like, you know, and I realized that, hey, maybe I need to change some shit, change the people around me, and change some things within my camp. And, you know, after my first BKFC fight, you know, I was like, oh shit, you know, maybe I do need to change some things and prepare a little bit differently. So I changed a few things. And then, you know, second fight, I was like, okay, we're almost there. So let's step it up a notch and add another piece to this puzzle. And something was added. And, you know, going into this third fight, bare knuckle fight for Total Line, you know, I told myself, hey, you know, that second fight, we added another piece to the puzzle. Now let's add another piece to this puzzle to further the journey. And, you know, that worked out very well. And, you know, it helped build something that I hadn't had in a while.
Yeah.
Because like I said, sometimes it's mental, man. Like me, myself, I've been doing this for, this year will be 10 years of fighting. Later on this year will be 10 years of fighting for me.
Wow.
And, you know, I like Tom said, I've had some spurts where I'm hitting win streaks and shit like that. And then I've had some spurts where I went downhill. So, you know, that'll fuck you up mentally sometime. And, you know, sometimes you got to change everything. And I found out here recently, changing a lot of shit and taking some people away and bringing some people in that, you know, that you feel that is going to push you and help you out mentally. That shit works, man. Like I feel
changes
myself,
the game,
man. My game, since I've changed a lot of things, has went from like here to being, I've added another notch to my journey. Like I feel fucking awesome right like now. Like my mental with this fight game is awesome right now. I feel like everything that I've been doing, I put myself in training camp several weeks ago to, just in case somebody from 185 to 205 backed off, and if I got the call, you know, I'd be ready. So I've been grinding. And those pieces to my puzzle that I've added to my camp, and also stepping it up a notch with my striking coach, man, it's wonderful. Like I cannot wait to show off this growth that I've had, not only mentally but physically and technically, man. Like I said, man, some of us are built for this shit. Some of us are built for this shit, and some of us are not. You can be the tough guy all you want sometimes, but deep down you got to dig deep for that shit, man. Like if you got it, you got it, and if you don't, man, like Tom said, take a step back and try something different. No discredit to John. No discredit to John. Of course, he shows up. I fucks with John. I talk to him all the time. You know, we comment on each other's shit like each other's shit. But, you know, like if there's something going on there, man, like reach out to one of the homies or, you know, try something different, man. Like add another piece to your journey and add another piece to your puzzle and, you know, let's get it. Like that's how I feel about it. But what Tom said is very true, man. Like, you know, I know Tom, you've probably been doing this for a long time also. And like you said, you've had your ups and your downs and things change when you add something that makes you happy mentally, man. Like it's a different feeling.
Well, you know, like I mean, and this kind of applies, I guess, to, you know, every facet of life. Sometimes everybody just kind of needs for lack of a better, you just kind of need a kick in the ass sometimes, right? Like kind of a little tough love. Sometimes you got to change shit up. Like regardless, maybe it's something at your job, maybe it's something, you know, something in your life, something you're doing. You know, I don't think it's disrespectful to say, hey man, maybe you might want to change something. This isn't the way you're doing it. Obviously something's not working, right? So
agreed.
So
I hate to be the guy to do this.
Oh no.
Here we go.
Do this. We've spent a lot of time talking about a guy who didn't perform well. I would love to jump on to somebody who did perform well. My man, John Lee Chelbeck. The floor.
He looked good.
Kid came out after 3 years of putting in effort. I went with this man to the tryouts in Philly. I drove up to Michigan. I picked his ass up. We drove all the way the fuck down to Philly. We got an Airbnb. We hung out. We went to tryouts. We had a grand old time. And this man has been trying ever since the tryouts in Philly to get on the card. Finally got on a fucking card. Comes out and
looked amazing.
Just looked so damn good. Just everything about him was crisp and pristine. And John Chelbeck came out and put a hurting. I don't know the guy's first name, but his last name's Bono.
Greg Bono. Greg Bono.
Yeah, that guy had a decent mustache, but did not come prepared for the boxing of John Chelbeck.
What grade would you give his mustache, Tom? What grade would you give it?
I mean, his mustache was his mustache was good. Like it was a good mustache, you know.
But he didn't have that
information that he was trying to pull off. Like you're not Bronson. Like Charles Bronson was 240 fucking pounds, bro. You're 140 pounds and your head doesn't look right. So no, keep your hair. Try this out for a little while. The mustache will work out for you. Anyway, moral of the story is fucking John Chelbeck beat some ass tonight, and I am so proud of him. And let's spend a couple of minutes talking about that.
Yeah, no, it was fucking good. Chelbeck defeats Greg Bono via KO. Greg couldn't enter the 10 count. 28 seconds of round number 3. Now, another thing that I'm excited about in this fight was that it was at 145 pounds. The 145-pound division is like one of the divisions where there's like almost no fights. Like Artem and Jason Knight fought there, but there's been 3 fights. Well, now 4 at 145 pounds. The 2 Jason Artem fights, and then the Johnny Bedford felony fight. Was at 145 pounds.
Right.
I don't think there's been another one. I might be wrong.
Felony and Good John fought.
Oh yeah. That was at 140.
They fought at 50.
That was at, was it 50?
I'm pretty sure it was at 50.
It was a catch weight. Yeah, I know it was a catch weight.
I'm pretty sure it was at 50. I could be wrong. Feel free, internet, correct me. But No, you are absolutely correct. The 45-pound division is pretty slim.
Yeah.
And
I'm pumped.
Like that is super exciting because you've got Artem, who hasn't been heard of since he got his ass beat by Jason Knight. Jason Knight, who hasn't been heard of since he beat Artem's ass. And that's pretty much it as far as 145 is concerned. You've got Allers, who says he wants to come down and compete at 145, which, you know, I mean, if you want to run away from the 155-pound division, be my guest. But that gives an exciting angle to the 145-pound division, you know. And then you've got this new guy, fucking John, who comes in cool, calm, collective, and just frankly, like, put in work for his first bare knuckle fight. He's got like 14 or 15 professional fights. Yeah. He's undefeated. He's got 11 finishes. And he comes in and it looks like he's been there. It looks like he's been doing it.
Yeah.
You know, against the guy who puts on all appearances, looks like he's been training and has been ready. Chris Lieben held pads for this guy and said, yo, this is the guy to check out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, John just beat the fuck out of that guy. So I think John might be the guy. John might be the dark horse in the 155-pound division. Like I have no doubt and confidence saying that. Like this, he brings a very new light and a very new excitement to a forgotten about division.
What was the WWE theatrics tonight, or was it just me? Well, we could definitely talk about some of that.
We'll get there.
We'll definitely get there, Angel. We'll definitely get there. I guess real quick too. Let's go ahead because we're making our way here. We're almost there. Brian, let's talk about Lorenzo Hunt defeating Rob Morrow via KO. Couldn't answer the 10 count right at the end of the bell, right at the bell of round 4. He couldn't get back up. It was kind of an awkward fight at first, right? Because Rob just kind of, was kind of like waiting for a shot, and which he didn't really press the action very much. Lorenzo was going for the kill every time. He was swinging for the fences. It looked a bit awkward. And then that last round, Lorenzo really just, was putting on that pressure, pressing the pace, and was just fucking determined to land a shot. And he did. And, 10 count. What'd you think about that?
I mean, honestly, I think Robert did what he kind of needed to do for those first couple rounds. Everybody knows Lorenzo Hunt comes out fast, and he's swinging to take your head off with every punch. Yeah. So I kind of understand Robert's game. Shout out to him. That's the homie right there. But Robert was looking for the counter punch, and that is a way that you can. I'm not talking shit or anything, but that is one way that you can beat Lorenzo Hunt is to counter all those bombs that he throws. I'm not hating or throwing no shade at him, but he throws with ill intentions, and if you can counter that, it can be stopped. And that's what Robert Morrow was looking for, and he done it a few times. And that slip that was called that knockdown that was called a slip. That should have been called a knockdown.
That was a fucking knockdown. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He hit him with a 3-piece, and he goes down.
Yeah,
that's a fucking knockdown. All right, sorry.
Yes,
go ahead.
That was hey, that was definitely a knockdown in my book because when they replayed it, I was like, hold on, that wasn't no slip. That was a knockdown. But hey, it is what it is. It was a call that was missed. It happens, but Robert was looking for the counter punch, and hey, it was even though the fight was a little slow, and Robert was waiting for his time, and he landed the counter punch several times, and
he did.
Lorenzo Hunt finally figured it out and just was like, you know what, fuck it, let's bang it out, and he caught Robert, and that's how the fight ended. Like he waited. Lorenzo waited for his time, just like Robert waited for his time to counterpunch. And hey, they went into a slugfest that last 10 seconds, and unfortunately, Robert got caught. And
Yeah.
Hey, it's part of bare knuckle fighting. That shit's going to happen. So,
yeah.
Hey, I I didn't think the fight was completely boring or anything, but hey, it was still a fight. Lorenzo moved and did what he had to do, and Robert had it. Robert's a veteran in all combat sports, and
right.
he stayed.
He's got 50 fucking fights.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely kept his composure. The crowd was kind of letting their feelings be known, but again, it is what it is. It's a fucking fight. You got to do what you got to do. Lorenzo was coming there to take his head off, and I mean, yeah, Robert was fucking composed, man. Like,
I really want to jump in here.
Go ahead, man.
Because I've got some bias for Rob.
Okay.
Rob and I have known each other for a long time. We've done some training back in the day. We grew up in the same area. We've spent a lot of time in the same community. So, to see him go out and have a fight against the fucking juggernaut, like honestly and personally,
well, there he is.
I was terrified for him. Rob, I love you. Let's talk. Anyway, I was terrified for Rob. But in the back of my head, I was like, Rob's a veteran. Like, Rob knows what he's doing. Let's see how this plays out. And in my notes, I don't know how well you can see this, but
oh God, he got the whole list of notes.
I said patient, and then I said too patient, and then I said he was great in round 3. All right.
Yeah.
And then if you look at fucking Hunt, I said he's looking for one shot.
Yep.
And then I said I'm seeing his flaws. And then I said he got TKO'd in round 3. So anyway, moral of the story is like Rob came out with the perfect game plan. Like Lorenzo has no range 1 and range 2. He can't fight at outside. He can't fight in the mid-range. His only hope is to rush and ambush you, and Rob knew that. And Rob kept him at bay and just kept him out there and looked for a shot. And it was a beautiful fucking game plan. It was absolutely excellent. His only mistake, in my opinion, was he let himself get into that firefight in the last 10 seconds. He was doing so good for 3 rounds. He was like, all right, let's try this out.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. So, Lorenzo, you are a fucking monster, and I personally don't want no smoke. All right?
Just a disclaimer.
Rob came at you with a stellar game plan, and I really feel like he almost got the better of you.
Hey, I was going to say the same shit. Like Robert is a veteran. Like I said, he's got over 50 fights, and of course he's going to study Lorenzo just like anybody else would study any opponent that they're being matched up with, and that was the perfect game plan. Those people that were in the back were booing and shit. Fuck that booing shit, man. He had the perfect game plan. He was doing what he needed to do to try to win.
Fight with Lorenzo Hunt. Like, nobody.
Yeah, you know what, man? I fucking hate it when a crowd does that during a fight. It's like, come on, like you're not fucking in there. Like you said, Robert, he was doing what he had to do. That's the game. That's how you beat Lorenzo Hunt. Anyway, that shit drives me nuts, man.
Hey, who's to say like Lorenzo's in my weight class, so that smoke is, I mean, it's wanted because he's in my division, and I'm gonna have to fight him probably eventually just because he's in my division, and if they match me up, they match me up. But hey, that is a key to beating that man. You got to counter him, like. That's something Robert had that in his mind, and it was working for him. Robert's one of my homies. So I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. He had the excellent game plan. He just got caught in a fire pit and got caught, and it cost him the fight. But up until that point, I think he was frustrating the fuck out of Lorenzo.
Yeah, and it was obvious. It was obvious, and that's that's where my notes came from, is because like it's not like Lorenzo was trying to hide it. Like he was like what the fuck,
right?
You know, like, and I get it, you know. But let's not let this take away from Lorenzo. You know, like of all the frustration, of all the nonsense, of all the bullshit, of the excellent game plan, Lorenzo came out and fucking pressured and
he did what he had to do. Yeah.
I like, as much as I love Rob, I'll also play the other side of that card. Like as soon as it got inside, Rob was really kind of hoping for something to land, but Lorenzo was like touch. There it is.
Yeah.
You know, like it was a different situation on the inside. So
well, let me ask you this too.
All the credit to Lorenzo.
Let me ask you this, because Lorenzo, he's fought just about the same way every time we've seen him come out. He doesn't pretend to. It works for him, right? It's one of those things that fucking works. It's not broken.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Does that almost make it more? What's the word? Does it almost make it more? Like mythical, like because you know what he's gonna do, you know the game plan. It's like the Khabib mentality. You know what the fuck he's gonna do, but you still can't stop it, right? Like you know what Lorenzo's gonna come to do. Like there is no guessing. You don't have to watch tape. If you watch one of his fights, you've seen all of his fights.
Yeah.
But like
well, this goes back. So you remember when we did a podcast like many moons ago, and we pulled Lorenzo on, and he made a comment that stuck with me like I'll never fucking forget. He said like, because I was talking about how I think about like how my opponent's gonna do this and how my opponent's gonna do that, so on and so forth. He said, why? It's like, it doesn't matter what your opponent's gonna do.
Right.
Why are you worried about what your opponent's gonna do? Your opponent needs to be worried about what you're gonna do.
Right.
And what you're gonna do is beat the fuck out of them, and that's what they do. You know, like it was just like it just sunk in my head so much, and that's who Lorenzo is. Like he's like I don't need to worry about them.
Yeah,
like,
he didn't give a shit
you
that
need
you
to
know
worry
what he's
about
gonna
what
do.
I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Here's the flip side of that coin: is Rob knew what Lorenzo was gonna do.
Yeah.
Lorenzo was still able to pull it off. He was still able to get in there and do what he needed to do. I think where we take this in longevity's terms, or where we take this in the future, is what does Lorenzo learn from this? You know, like, does he learn how to place his punches and get inside to set up the bigger shots? Does he learn how to bait people in? Does he learn footwork or maneuvering? Like, does he pick up on the fact that he showed major flaws tonight, and intelligent fighters are gonna pick up on that and are gonna go out there and try to exemplify those errors? I think that's going to be the real draw from this situation, because that 200 to 185 to 205 pound division, that whole area is huge. It's stacked. It's getting thick. Yeah. And there are so many fighters in there. Like, I get goosebumps thinking
that
about
185 to 205 range. Right. It's getting fucking thick, man.
Everybody, like, with the exception of like, well, let's not get there. There's a lot of motherfuckers in there. That's the moral of the story. So, like, anybody who wants that smoke, I mean, Brian, you're sitting right here. Like, you just said it. Like, you could get mashed up. Like, you know now. You just watched 3 rounds of slow, meticulous, articulated, accurate boxing on Lorenzo, and you've realized there's not much he has an answer for. So if Lorenzo is a smart fighter, he's going to pick up on that, and he's going to do a lot of changes over the next couple of months. In my hopes, like I said, like, I don't want to talk shit about the guy, but like, if he wants to stop being a one-trick pony. He wants to keep his winning record going. He's going to need to make some adaptations.
Fair enough.
Well said, though. For real. I mean, hey, at least you were completely honest about it, and you know, you can only be a one-trick pony for so long. But you know, like I said, I'm not going to talk shit about the guy, but you know, he's in my division, and if I have to ever fight him, I have to fight him just because that's my job, and I will train accordingly to prepare for that fight. Like facts, you know.
I still want one of those shirts, by the way, Tom.
Facts. But you know, I'm one of those guys. I study for a couple days. I even go back and watch fights. Sometimes I'll sit here for a week and watch every bare knuckle fight, and I'll study every person's fight. Tom's fights, my fights, Lorenzo's fights, Robert's fights, everybody's fights, the whole roster's fight. Anybody that has fought for BKFC, I've studied your fight two to 1,000 times already. And you know, I like seeing all the different styles, and you know, some by chance that I have to fight somebody that's got that similar or different style, I add that to my fight camp. I'm gonna just keep it 100. So I know what I got to do to try to beat that style. You feel what I'm saying?
100%,
man. Absolutely.
So moving to the next fight, and real quick, we'll kind of go over this. Martin Brown defeated Zach Zane via TKO ref stoppage. Zach Zane could not see out of his right eye.
Zach Zane's all pussy.
Oh my God!
Right now, Zach Zane's all pussy.
Of 1 minute 28 seconds of round number 2. I won't touch that one. But
hey, look.
Brown came out. He had a good game plan. He wanted to use his range, use his reach. Zane came out. He wanted to be flashy. He wanted to be pretty. He thought his tattoos were going to win him the fight, and it didn't. Moral of the story is Brown hurt his leg and still came out to finish the first round, and Zane took an imaginary poke in the eye and was like, I'm done. That's my take on that fight, and we can obviously progress on.
Oh my God! Hey, shout out to Brown though, man. Hey, he had that weird knee injury.
Yeah,
it fucked him up.
Knee, yeah.
In the way I couldn't see like which way his knee went, but either way,
hey,
you hurt your knee
it was
in
weird.
A fight. It's not a good situation.
Yeah, man, you lose mobility and everything, and hey, he rose to the occasion and tried to finish.
And overcame it. Yeah,
exactly. And you know, he didn't win the way he wanted to, but hey, a dub is a dub, and he still came out after his adversity of fucking up that weird ass knee shit and finished the fight still and got the dub. So, hey, shout out to that guy, man. Like, I know his knee right about now is probably the size of a fucking boulder, but hey, it's all worth it in the end.
Yep. You got the dub on a big ass fucking card, and a lot of people saw it. So
I do have one other thing I want to touch on from my notes. They were both very MMA minded.
Sure.
You could see they threw shots and went right to the clinch, and they were totally kosher with like grappling a lot.
I almost thought he was a trip when he went down.
Hey, that shit was nasty though. That shit was awesome. I like that. I'm a wrestler, so if I see something like that in any kind of fight, whether it be bare knuckle or boxing,
like I'm not crazy,
anything,
right? Like, did he fucking trip him?
Hey, that shit was nasty.
He told him like he certainly like according to the background, he's like a Thai fighter, right? So like he went for like a pull to juxtaposition to get better off from his inside clinch. But I think when he tried to step and catch his base is when his knee went funky. Either way, like it was a goofy position. It's unfortunate that he hurt his knee, and it's better that he got his knee, like that he won. But moral of the story is, I think for BKFC, for bare knuckle fighting, you can't throw overhand rights into double legs. Like I don't think that throwing a heavy 1-2 and bum rushing your partner or your opponent into the cage or into the fence and laying on them like you would hitting somebody and laying on them in the cage, is a conducive fight style. It's not what we're here to see. It's not what we're here to do. So if I can make a technical, critical critique for that fight outside of just calling Zayn a pussy, it's that like you're here to fight. You're not here to grapple. Like the ring is a barrier. It's not something to hold your opponent against.
Fair enough.
Moving on.
Well, Ricky, I'll tell you what. Let's go and touch on that fight. Chris Lieben defeats Quentin Henry. Quentin could not answer the 10 count. 1 minute and 7 seconds of the first round. This was weird, right? Because it started off kind of funky. Their first exchange, it looked like a knuckle got in the eye of Quentin, and it was just kind of downhill right after that. I don't think Quentin never really fully kind of recovered after that knuckle or whatever it was to the eye. I don't know. There wasn't like a super duper clear shot. I mean, it definitely looked like, something like that. I don't fucking know.
Hey, it was a knuckle to the eye. Okay. When they showed the replay, it shows the knuckle going into the eye because, he had him in the half plumb and was punching up. Yeah. So, he caught him in the eye. But, hey, that fight went the way I expected it. I wanted Chris Lieben to win because, like I said, I've watched every person on the roster fight for bare knuckle, including myself. And I knew that Henry's had a weak jawline. I'm just going to say it. I knew he had a weak jawline. And I said to myself that soon as Chris Lieben connected with Quentin Henry's jaw, he wasn't going to like it and he was going to KO that man. And I called that fight exactly how I knew it would go. And, if it comes to the point where I have to fight Henry, he's in my weight class, I'll fight him. But I'm not going to go off anything based off that fight. But I knew Henry didn't have the jaw that everybody thought he had going against Chris Lieben, because if you watch Quentin's first fight, Bubba Marlboro dropped him with that same kind of shot that Lieben dropped him with, and it put him out. But hey, that's just my opinion. Hey, it was still a great fight. Chris Lieben and Anderson Silva were the two first fighters that I ever watched when it came to MMA, because they fought that same night that I was introduced to the UFC in college. And so of course I'm going to be a Chris Lieben fan, but hey, a lot of people wanted Henry to win and a lot of people were on Henry's side, but I knew Chris Lieben was going to win that fight by far. I knew it was either going to be ended in the first or the second round amidst any of the other bullshit.
I wasn't, to be fair, I guess I wasn't sure. I mean, you're pretty much spot on though with your how it was going to go. But for me, I wasn't sure. I knew that it was going to end early. I just wasn't sure. I'm like, okay, how strong? Again, you said that with Quentin. My worry was, Chris Lieben, how strong is his jaw? I know he's fucking tough, and I know in the past he has a strong jaw, but Father Time does catch up to everybody eventually, no matter how fucking, tough somebody is. I was kind of worried, like, man, because I know Chris he went through another health scare, like when he was prepping to fight Marcel Samps, that fucking Alabama show or whatever. He had like a really bad staph infection and I think he said he thought he was going to lose his fucking leg. I mean, it's like crazy stuff.
Yeah, that shit was bad. Right.
So I'm like, man, how serious was that? Do you ever fully recover from something like that? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. It was interesting. And Chris Lieben, he's a fucking legend.
Facts.
You know, I don't know. I couldn't probably voice how much respect I have for him, you know, and his body of work, and just his fights have been incredible. And, you know, just like you know, Lieben was one of the first guys that I watched in MMA, and fucking just this, like, it made me love the sport. You know, the way he fought, and just how, like, Chris Lieben was always the guy. Like, it's almost like the more you beat him, the tougher he gets. And it was just
that quote about you hit me in that button. You hit me in that button, my hand just pops out.
Yeah. You know, and it made me love the sport, man. So, like, I'm so much fucking respect for that dude. You know, he had an amazing career, and I hope he does stick around to, you know, where he can mentor, which I know he already does. I know he runs a school, or helps run a school, you know, and he coaches a lot of younger guys. And, you know, I hope he can be that for the next generation of fighters, and just kind of be that guy to mentor these people. So
hell yeah, that's what's up though, man. Shout out to Chris Lieben, and he also shouted out his recovery guys. Like,
yeah,
that to me is being a hero, in my wholeheartedly honest opinion. That he's a hero in my eyes, and I would love to train with Chris Lieben one day and get some of his knowledge. And, you know, he went out the way that he wanted to, quick, fast, and with a knockout, and that shit was lit.
Ricky is saying, should the fight have been stopped right there once they realized it was a punch and not an eye poke? You know, how does that work? Because wouldn't that mean, now, again, help me out here. Wouldn't that mean that there would have to be some type of, like, instant replay thing in motion? Because once it's already, like, happened, unless there's an instant replay rule, you can't go back and, like, say, oh, fuck, that was an eye poke, or oh, that was a knuckle. I mean, help me out with this.
I mean, they kind of. My bad, Tom. Go ahead.
No, brother, go ahead.
I mean, does that make sense? What I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I completely understand what you're saying, but there was a fatal flaw that happened. But I would love to hear Brian speak before I express my opinion.
So what they basically did is, you know, when it happened, I think that's exactly what they did to make sure that it wasn't an eye poke. They went to the instant replay to double check. And once they found out that it wasn't an eye poke and that it was a fist to the eyeball, you know, they let him know that, you know, if he can't continue, it's going to be a TKO or a KO. So that's why Henry was so upset, because he thought it was like an eye poke himself, but it was a fist to the eye, and they let him know what was up, and so he had to continue, and that's how it should be. They hit that instant replay because they second guessed themselves too, because they thought it might have been an eye poke, but once they watched it,
there's a couple of people chiming in. They're saying the ref saw. I'll have to go back and watch it, because, like, I saw Quentin. You know, when he got hit, he went over, you know, kind of took the knee and was like, I got poked in the eye. So, like, did the ref see it right away?
Okay. Here's
it was really confusing for a second. So
here's my stance on the situation, and I am going to start this by saying I did not see this fight. My internet fucked up right at the beginning of the fight.
Oh my God.
I got it back right at, like, the replay.
He's on the AOL.
Uppercuts of then when he, like, turned away and was like, that was a fucking, he poked me in the eye.
Right.
And then it came back when Chris Lieben was standing over him and the fight was over. So I did not see the fight. But what I can tell you from the little bit that I saw is that punches were being thrown and the fighter complained and turned away. The ref never saw an eye poke.
Okay.
The ref didn't stop the fight for an eye poke. The fighter stopped the fight for an eye poke.
But
now, from a fighter's perspective, it's not your job to stop the fight from.
Well, I was gonna say, isn't that the same thing as like
job to stop the fight? Your job is to fucking fight regardless of what happens. How many times have we seen people get kicked in the junk and the ref be like, I didn't see it, keep going? How many times have we seen people get poked in the eye and the ref be like, I didn't see it, keep going? Like, there's absolutely no reason why a fighter can be like, oh, I was illegally fouled, and the ref
and just calls timeout for himself.
Precisely.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to talk shit about the ref. I'm not trying to say anything bad about the ref.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is that the ref, if the ref didn't see anything,
should have taken more control of the situation.
There should have been no stopping. Because there was confusion, thankfully, we had the replay. We had the replay, and the replay showed, like, look, you didn't get poked. You got punched. You got 45 seconds. Get your shit together or the fight's over. And he had to pull his shit together. He got called on his bluff, and he had to pull his shit together, and he went out there and he tried. And like Brian said, we all knew, we all had our suspicions that there were issues with him in the past. He had a good presentation, but the performances given his opponents were suspect. So him coming in against Lieben, it's like, all right, well, I mean, now it's the test. You know, now we're going to see. And he didn't pass the test.
So let me ask you this. So, okay, so like you were saying, but the fact that the ref didn't say, okay, hey, timeout, eye poke, and he just kind of did it on his own, Quentin did it on his own, should that have been like, hey, I guess you're not going to continue the fight? Like, should that have been like
I think that's the root of the dilemma. Okay, so the confrontation that everybody's in now is, should the fight have continued after the eye poke? That's essentially the situation. Well, let's get to the root of that situation. Was there an eye poke? No, there wasn't. And the ref never called an eye poke. Plain and simple. It didn't happen. So, and in the rules standard, there was no eye poke. There was no reason for the fighter to stop defending himself and call for a timeout. And Chris Lieben was more than willing to continue to punch that motherfucker in his face.
Facts.
So, no, the fight should not have continued to keep going because nothing played out the way it was supposed to play out. Now, this is obviously hindsight. This is 2020, you know, like in the situation, in the chaos, things are going to play out differently. And I have no quarrels towards the referee. He did what he was supposed to do. He did what he had to do, and the fight ended the way it was supposed to end.
Well, no, right. I mean, like, yeah, we had that luxury of hindsight, right? We had the luxury because we can kind of quarterback it. We're a few hours removed. We've all seen it a couple times. We're here talking about it. So, like, we have that luxury. But I don't know, like, at some point, though, because, like, it was fucking weird, like, I kind of feel like somebody kind of has to take some kind of responsibility because it was weird, and I don't think it should have happened. I don't think Quentin did anything like, you know, maybe he actually thought he got poked in the eye. I don't fucking know. I don't think he was trying to do anything, you know, to buy himself a few minutes. I don't think that's the case. So I just want to say that first and foremost.
You know what I think it might be? And this could go into the co-main event and fights in the past as well. But I think it might be a little bit of the fact that this sport is so new that the referees are still trying to get, like, you're pulling boxing referees in and MMA referees in and guys are still trying to get like a feel for what's allowed and what's not, you know. So maybe there's a little bit of that. Like maybe it's taking some time. Like maybe there's a learning curve going on.
Well, let me say this, Tom. Let me say this. With what you're saying, for what happened, whether it's boxing or MMA, are you telling me that a veteran referee of boxing, or if it was just straight glove boxing and a guy just walks away from the fight and takes a knee, are you saying that that same leeway would be given?
I would have to say it depends on the situation, because boxing's been established for 100 years. So if you see a situation you've seen 1,000 times before in a boxing situation, you can be like, oh, this guy's playing for a fool. But like, given the angle of where the referee was, he wasn't on the side of the punches. So he couldn't have very well seen if the eyes went in, you know, if the eyes got poked, you know. He didn't have the angle. He couldn't have seen it. And that guy was not a veteran bare knuckle referee. Let's just make that point simple.
Right.
He hadn't been there multiple times. So like, in his defense, the fighter's complaining of something. He just saw a situation. His job is fighter security. His job is fighter protection. So he's going to obviously be like, okay, all right, hold on. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. I'm not disputing that in any way, shape, or form. I think the ref did his job.
Facts.
Where I think the confusion is coming from is how new this sport is, how different this whole thing is, and maybe it's gonna take another couple of cards and another few instances like this happening where they have to develop some sort of replay or some sort of angle dialogue, right, where we can come to a comprehensive decision where, like, no, it may have felt like a fingernail, but that was his fucking knuckle. Get over it, you know, like, right. And I mean, that comes down to the whole sport thing versus fight thing. And then it's like, are you a bitch? Cause you like you got hit in the eye. Like you're in a fight. Like what the fuck? You know? Like,
okay. Well, let me
dynamics
real quick. Cause I do want to get to the co-main. Cause I think we're spending a lot of time, but let me just, cause I think it's this is an important thing that happened. Right. Like some of the people I see in the comments, they're talking about, yeah, I get it. Number one job is fighter safety, hands down, right?
Facts.
Okay. But either here it is. Here's what it boils down to. Either the ref saw it, because you're saying he didn't see it. A couple people were saying the ref saw it initially. Either the ref saw it and let Quentin take the knee and recover, or he didn't see it initially, went and saw the replay and made that decision at that point. So I guess the one thing that needs to be like cleared up 100%, I guess really before I can say anything else, is did he see it initially, right, or did he not see it until, the replay? Because I think that's going to make the world of difference. Like I understand the fighter safety thing. Like if he didn't see it and he just sees Quentin go down to a knee and he says he's poked in the eye, obviously a ref is going to take, he's going to take it at face value initially, because it's like, well, fuck yeah, he looks like fucker got poked in the eye. I get it. Let me give him a few minutes.
I get that. I get all of that. But I'll go back to my first initial reaction. All right. If I'm standing and what I see is
Reggie incoming
somebody, I see the back of somebody and them get pulled down into a clinch, and then I see this. And then I see them go down and them go, oh, my eye. I'm going to assume that motherfucker just got punched in his fucking eye. That's me. We can get into all of the debates and I can be the referee side all I want, which is what I've been doing. In my opinion, is he got punched in his fucking eyeball. He went
Right.
down, and he wasn't happy about it. That's my opinion.
Well, see, and Melanie too. That's
is something completely different.
right, and Melanie too.
It's something motherfuckers need to stop saying.
And
I'll be right back.
I hear what Melanie's saying too. She's saying when the fighter says I can't see it, maybe it should have been over. That's a verbal, I guess, like a verbal tap, verbal quit. Well,
yeah.
and here's what I'll say too, because let's rewind a little bit, right? Now, not exactly the same situation, but Martin Brown, Zach Zane. That's the reason why that fight got stopped, because Zach said I could not see out of my eye. Ref said, okay, fight's over.
Yeah, but the ref asked him, did he want to continue? And he's like, no, I can't see out of my fucking eye. So the ref protected him like he was supposed to and called the fight. So, same shit, different toilet at the end of the day. But
no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He did give him the option. Yeah. No, I know that. And like I said, I'm not questioning. I'm just, maybe we'll just move off of this topic. Like, I don't want it to seem like, like I'm questioning, I don't want it to seem like I'm questioning, like, Quentin's toughness or the referee's capability. Like, I just think it was just a weird series of events, and that's all. It's just a weird series of events.
You know why he couldn't see? Honestly, because Chris Lehman put his knuckle in his fucking eyeball.
And there's that.
Quentin.
There's that.
Facts.
I know you're going to be upset that I said that. And I'll be frank with you. I've been drinking. And hold on. I've been drinking. And, well, asking for I'm not even getting into it. I've been drinking. And you're going to be mad. And honestly, like, I don't care. Like you got punched in your eyeball and it was game over. I love you. I think you're stellar. Try not to get punched in the eyeball anymore, and it won't happen.
Yeah, that's it, man. Like I said, we'll move on to the next fight. Like I said, I don't want to seem like I'm shitting on anybody. It's not. I guess I'm just looking for more clarity. That's all. So please, referee Andrew.
Can we just zero in on how Brian had a stellar point at the beginning of this whole situation?
Absolutely, he did. Yeah, absolutely.
The first fight was, we're like, all right, we're all kind of questionable here. Hold on. And sure enough, came full circle.
Absolutely. And I guess when we're waiting on Reggie, I sent Reggie the link. We're waiting on him. He's going to fit perfectly into the next fight. That win defeats Johnny Bedford and New via unanimous decision. 48-47 by two of the refs, and then 49-46. I will just say this right off the bat. This was a hell of a fight. Everybody saw it. I don't know if I agree with the 49-46 score. 48-47, okay. I'm not sure that I agree with the 49-46, but that said, where are you guys at?
Go ahead, Brian.
I mean,
brother, go ahead.
Man, that fight was a whole lot closer than what I mean. If fight of the night, it's a fight of the night candidate for sure. But that 49-46, I think they were that judge was completely wrong. And I feel like I feel like that fight, in my whole honest opinion, should have went into an overtime round.
A death round. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting a death round.
I thought the overtime round was coming. I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, shit. This is going to be an overtime fight to declare the winner, because it was that fucking close. Like that fight was close. Like, I had the fight almost right there at a draw. I really wanted to see that fight go into an overtime round to declare the definite winner, because those two guys showed up and showed the fuck out.
Yeah,
they did what they said they were going to do, put on a great fight. Even though that didn't get the knockout. I mean, they still put on a good fight, and you know that little bullshit at the end where Dat was talking his shit and wants to fight a heavyweight. That's not going to happen. He needs to fight Reggie fucking Barnett. He's the champ. Reggie's the number one contender, and he needs to fucking fight Reggie.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes.
If you guys ever want the rest perspective or anything, I got you. I appreciate that.
I will chime in on that. So Dat had great body work. I know the stat count said he only landed 5 body punches. If that's true, those 5 body punches were stellar because every time he hit him to the body, Johnny just froze. Like he was just like, oh, like, you know, like we've all seen Johnny be stellar, but we've also seen Johnny be a Class A competitor fight against, frankly, Class B competitors. And we finally saw him against a Class A competitor, and he did wonderfully. He performed outstandingly, but it wasn't enough. It just simply wasn't enough. Like, Dat came in and hit him with everything that he possibly could. And Johnny was tough. Johnny was in shape. Johnny was ready to go. But I think it was blatantly obvious after the second round that Johnny wasn't ready for the same fight that Dat was ready for. And I think that's why Dat got the 49-46 decision that he got, was because Johnny tried to put his weight on him in the first round, but he didn't really box him. Johnny tried to initiate that in the second round, but then started to throw punches and got hit. Johnny tried to box him in the third round and couldn't really do that. He had tried to reinitiate his weight in the fourth round, but was too tired. Yeah. And then the fifth round, he pretty much got picked apart. Like, he threw himself at his opponent, but he didn't really fight his opponent. You know? So, like, as much as I would love to talk down about Johnny, what the real topic of conversation needs to be is how well Dat did. Like, he went out there and he performed in every aspect of that fight and took the title from the champion. That's what he did.
He did. I think that's fair to say. You know, like I said, it was a close fight. I think if they would announce it a draw, wouldn't be too many complaints from me. If they would have,
me either.
If they would have gave it to Johnny, it was fucking close, but I think there was enough of a gap. I don't know. I don't know if I would have started the robbery talk, because I hate that. I don't know if I would have started the robbery talk if Bedford won it, but I thought that did enough to decisively win it. You know, it was close, but
draw.
Yeah, like I said, if it was a draw, you wouldn't have got a peep out of me. You know, that would have been fair. I think, like you said, that fucking showed up, man. You know, and I'll be honest with you. I thought Johnny was going to go in there and assert his will against that. I
think that's what we all expected. We all expected the same Johnny that we always see. It's the Johnny that comes out and just, like, he lets motherfuckers know they don't belong there. Like, yeah. When have you ever seen Johnny in trouble? When have you ever seen him in a position where he's backing up, where he's cautious, where he's precarious? Like, you don't see that out of Johnny Bedford. And Dat Nguyen had him in that position 48 seconds into round 1. You know, like,
fair enough.
You don't see it. And I really think that's what like, You can look at the fight as a fight and be like, wow, yeah, that was a really good competition, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. But if you look at the fight as like a history, as like a dialogue, as like the climactic event to two separate stories, that is one person's performance just oversighting and overseeing somebody else's effort in performance, because we know what Johnny Bedford's capable of, and we know what Dat Nguyen's capable of, and we know their competition. So when you watch them do that against each other, to see Dat do what he did against Johnny, it's like, I cannot disagree with the 49-46. I just can't. Like, I thought it was a draw because of the excitement. I won't dispute that in any way, shape, or form. But again, hindsight's always 20/20. And looking back on it, like, pull, motherfucker pulled off something special.
He did. Now, Brian, this leads me to my next question. Everybody's talking about Reggie. Reggie's next. What's that going to be like? A Reggie versus Dat fight? Because, Dat is, he's I guess you want a technical brawler is kind of what people call him. And I guess kind of the same thing with Johnny. They're similar in that aspect. They both like to brawl. Reggie, on the other hand, Reggie's very fucking technical. He comes from a traditional boxing background. Is would something like that give, if fight math never really adds up, but even though Johnny beat Reggie, would Reggie give Dat a tougher time than Johnny did just because of his style?
I feel like Reggie would give. I think Reggie would give him a tougher time, only for the simple fact that Reggie's technical. He's super technical. I keep up with Reggie. I watch everything that he does.
Yeah.
He improves each fight, and Reggie brings the fight. You feel what I'm saying? And hey, Johnny brought the fight to that too. Don't get me wrong, but Reggie needs to fight Dat, and Dat is trying to dodge that, but Dat you're the champion now. If you dodge that, man, just go ahead and give your belts back and let Reggie fight somebody else for those belts, because as a champion, like, you're supposed to fight the number one contender. Whoever is next up is who you should fight. Ain't no calling out nobody else, this, that, and the third. You need to fight the number one contender. And if not, just go ahead and hand your shit in and move the fuck on.
Well, it also, too, like, I think in the court of public opinion, a lot of people all kind of feel the same way. Everybody thinks that Reggie's next. I mean, they were supposed to fight in Miami once Johnny got injured, and then it was going to be Dat and Reggie, and then Dat pulled out because he was sick. It's almost like, in my brain, I feel like the fight is kind of a no-brainer. It makes sense from like a ranking point of view. It makes sense from a story, from a story point of view. I feel like this is what's fucking next. It's got to be Reggie versus Dat.
It is a great fucking headliner.
I mean, who else other than a rematch with Johnny? Who else would Dat fucking fight? Who else would he fight other than Reggie or the rematch with Johnny? I mean, right now, I don't know if there is anybody else right now that could really challenge Dat.
There really isn't. And let's be honest, who the fuck cares who else is in the picture? Like, Reggie Barnett is the people's champ. We all know this. We've all been watching him. We've all been following him. He has had a stellar story. He's had a stellar background. He's had stellar performances. And his one mishap was against the now former champ.
Right.
If anybody deserves a chance at the title, it's the man who was supposed to fight the man who just won the title.
100%.
There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Agreed.
That's the end of that. That's the situation. Reggie is the one. He's the situation. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm not necessarily that interested in a rematch right now. I feel like maybe give Dat like 3 months. Give Johnny like 3 months and let Dat defend against Reggie in 3 months. Let Johnny fight somebody else in 3 months. See how that whole situation plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can talk about it. We can
figure it out from there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the 135-pound division's been on standstill since Johnny won that belt.
Right.
And that was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So there needs to be movement. There needs to be consistency here. I think if they want fluidity for that weight class, then I think that an immediate rematch probably isn't the best decision.
It's not at all. And Reggie needs to be Dat's next opponent.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think I think we're all in agreement on that. Let's the headliner. Go ahead, Brian. You want to say something?
Hey, by the way, what up, Nick? Long time no talk. Hope all is well. Hopefully see you soon, bud. But moving on to the main event.
The main event, Britton Hart defeats Paige VanZant. Unanimous decision, 49-46 across the board for that.
We go with a full-on Nate Diaz. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Man, oh man, this was something, right? Because a lot of people talking about, again, and I've said this, the record doesn't make the fighter. I think there's just too many people look at a record and they go, oh yeah, they're not that good. But I don't think that's the case. And I don't think it's certainly the case with Britton. She had some tough fights. Her first bare knuckle fight was against Beck Rollins. Her second bare knuckle fight was against Christine.
For real.
So you're
bad bitches in bare knuckle.
Right. So when people say, oh yeah, Britton Hart, I'm like, I don't know if I can agree with that because and she came in her third fight. She did what she had to do. Maybe it wasn't the prettiest fight, against Randine, but she went in there, got the job done. She played the boxing game. She played the range game, kind of like what she did tonight against Paige. She kind of self-admittedly, she kind of reinvented herself. She went back to her roots, and she changed a lot of things, in her life and made things more positive and got rid of the negative. Kind of like what you guys were talking about, like with John. John McAllister. Sometimes you just have to kind of, flush that shit out your system, flush all that toxic shit and the negativity. And I think she's done that, and you could tell, that you could tell that it's the Britton Hart we saw, against Randine. She was different, and I think with this, you can really tell she's different. When she came out against Paige, all the pressure, all the lights, all the feedback, all the, interviews she's had to do. If she would have caved into the pressure, I don't know. Maybe we couldn't have blamed her, because if Britton lost to Paige VanZant, what's the worst somebody would have said? Like, well, yeah, you lost to Paige VanZant.
Right.
Big deal.
Right.
But Paige VanZant losing to Britton Hart, by comparison,
that's a Rocky story.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's a fucking Rocky story. What does Paige do now? Because here it is. She's the multi-million-dollar contract, whatever the hell it is. She came in there with all this hype and all this. I thought that coming into this fight, and maybe I'm off, but I always got the impression that for Paige, this was a business thing. Like, this fight was just pure business. There's nothing wrong with that. But it was pure business for her, and she never really looked at it as much more than that. Whereas on the other hand, with Britain, you always got the sensation that she needs this fucking fight. You know, like for her, this is a big deal. You know, she's got something to prove. Maybe not to anybody else, but to herself. You know, she's got something to fucking prove, and she was hungry. She wanted this fucking fight, and I think that was the big difference maker. And I'm rambling at this point, but I felt very strongly about this fight.
I'm right there with you. So I want to touch on a couple of different things. The first thing is what you said about Paige and how she didn't think that this was going to be what it was. Like, she thought that this might have just been a paycheck or like something that she was going to do, or like she didn't have any realistic expectation to the situation that she was getting herself into. And the only way that I can equate it to, honestly, is Joey Beltran versus Tony Lopez, BKFC 1 at the end of round 3. If you look at Joey's face at the end of round 3 going into round 4, the look on his face is, what the fuck did I just sign up for? I think that's what Paige got herself into. I think that's where she found herself at, was a position where, like you said, she thought she was comfortable. She thought she was home. She thought this would be like a nice, safe place for her to fucking retire. Wrong. Let's get to the more important subject, and that's Britain Hart. I will be the first person to tell you that I think Britain Hart's personality is imaginary. I think she has this very fake portrayal of who she truly is as a human being. However, she went out there tonight and she showed everybody who she is as a human being, and that's somebody who takes what she wants. She went out there and she proved to everyone on the planet, without a doubt, that she deserves to be in the top class of the striking combat community. She proved that she deserves to be in the conversation with people like Beck Rollins and Paige VanZant and so on and so forth. She went out there and she took her place in history. And I think that's probably what should be talked about more than anything else, is she proved everybody wrong. Everybody expected her to lose. Everybody thought she was bait. Everybody thought she was fucking candy for Paige to come in and just fucking gobble up. And she proved everybody wrong. I think that's what we need to talk about.
Nick says, think Jenny Savage gets her shot. She stormed the square circle.
That was cold-blooded. Jenny Savage, that was cold-blooded.
Don't waste airtime on Jenny Savage. Let's get back to Britain Hart.
Yeah, well, I will say this. I thought that was pretty fucking dirty. I'll just say it. I thought it was a little dirty.
Yeah. So stop wasting airtime on her, and let's get back to Britain Hart. Like story of the fucking WrestleMania.
But hold on. We got a special guest here, my man. Educated Hands. Let's bring him in.
What's good, y'all?
What's up, buddy?
My headphones died. My freaking phone's almost gonna die. It's been a long night. How y'all doing? Y'all enjoy the show, fellas?
We loved it. Well, look. I tell you what. Then do us a favor, because we were just talking about it. I think it's kind of unanimously agreed, man, is that you have to be next, right? I mean, like, it's there's two things that could happen. Either the rematch with Johnny or the fight with you, but I think the fight with you is the better scenario. I guess, you got in the ring, you talked about it, you talked to that. You called your shot. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think the likelihood of
that's
him
going to run like a bitch? Well, that's what's going to happen. He said it. I mean, he said it in front of the whole world, and he tried to make it seem like like I said in other statement, in other interviews, he tries to make it seem like I'm beneath him, like I'm lower than him, not just as a fighter, but as a person. He did that shit on live TV, right? Did y'all not hear what he said?
I heard him.
I heard that shit.
I didn't catch all of it.
Y'all not hear that shit? He said, I'm not going to waste my time fighting somebody that's beneath me.
Fighting you is beneath me. Those were those were his exact words.
Right? So how am I beneath you? Right? If I have more wins than you, right? I have been here since the tryouts. Who gives a fuck about your boxing career? Especially when there's no credibility to your boxing career, when you were 16-1 and fought a guy that was 3-1. All credibility to your boxing career is null and void. That 20-3 bullshit does mean nothing when you're fighting guys who have records 10 times lower than yours. That's called padding. To get to that opportunity you had at Miguel Torres to shock the world, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Excuse my language. My bad, y'all.
Say whatever you want, bro. Don't worry about that.
Right?
Talk your shit, OG.
What's going on? What do you want to do? Hey, guys, hold on right quick.
All right.
I mean, we're here. You think he knows his camera's still on?
He just muted it real quick. He's probably talking to somebody.
All right, well.
Hell, for a second, I thought maybe Dat was walking up on him.
Yeah, I thought it was. Hey, I thought.
Just put it down next to the palm tree and let us watch.
Facts.
You're gonna get 1 million views tonight.
But yeah, man, that. Hey, my intake though on the main event though, like, hey, Britain did what she had to do to get the win. I didn't. I'll be the first to admit that I'm wrong. I didn't have Britain. I didn't think Britain would win that fight,
bro.
But
I said when she got choked, I was like, oh,
Reggie, anyway, I don't care. I knew Britain was gonna win that fight. I mean, the worst we could do is see what's going on. I'm sorry the night turned into what it did. You know me. Whatever, as long as y'all drop my black ass off by 4:30, I'm good. I don't care what y'all do.
That might be the issue. Focus.
All right, let me focus, y'all. All right, so where were we? Oh, so when you try to present it as if I'm beneath you because I have a 6-2 boxing career, right? But if you look at my boxing career, my 2 first fights, just like any other boxers, were gimme fights. Everybody else I fought was undefeated. Why? Because the world knows that Reggie is a fighter to fight fighters, that I like to challenge myself, that I'm not just in this to get accolades and blah, 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 blah. I'm here to fight. I'm here to fight the best. Win, lose, or draw. I'm a fighter. That's not a real fighter. Congratulations on your victory. That shit was sloppy as fuck. That looked like a drunken ball fight. That's what it looked like, a drunken bar fight. Right? That is not real bare knuckle fighting. That was them two giving their best at brawling it out. And that's cool. I'm not a brawler. I'm not a boxer. I'm a bare knuckle fighter. I have proven that shit through and through. There's a difference. I had to beat Johnny and Dat tonight. Both of them.
Reggie, I'm not gonna lie. I think with the confidence you're throwing out right now, you're probably right. I think with the performance that they put out, I think both of them came out to just fucking punch one another in the face, which from my standards is fucking stellar. Do that. Get the fuck after it. But I think from your standards, from an educated perspective, I think if somebody would have came at you with that sort of situation or that sort of game plan, you would have absolutely
hang out with y'all for a little while? You don't mind? I got my crew with me. Do you mind?
You're welcome for complimenting you, and I'm sorry that you didn't fucking
Look who I got, y'all.
Oh, what up, girl?
Brett and Hart.
VA in the house.
Gang, gang.
What's up, Brett?
Fucking
Just hanging
went
out
over
with
and checked
everybody.
How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel great, actually. I feel, man, it's just like dreams.
No, she is a feeling.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel nothing because she is a feeling. Yo, the whole internet is raving over that shit. Yo. Yes, yeah. That shit's blowing up. I'm so stoked.
I don't even. Reggie,
Yeah, you don't remember it right now. You will in a day or two. It happened. Relax, ice up. I'm gonna go. It's just we wanted to come hang out and celebrate. I gotta catch the flight at 4:30. Hang out. Y'all can bring the flowers. We'll hang out. It's up to you.
But yeah, man. I wonder. I hope it happens, man, because like I don't think that. Like I was saying to these guys earlier, especially like in the court of public opinion, Reggie. I can't see how Dak can avoid you, because from a rankings perspective, from a public opinion perspective, if Dak just straight up doesn't fight you, that's gonna look really bad.
Not like a lip party. Not like
Man, his ass ain't paying no attention at all. We done said 100 good things about him. He ain't heard shit.
I know it.
we live.
Yeah, just not kick him. Kick him.
Kick his ass out.
All right.
Reggie.
His ass still ain't paying no attention. God damn, Reggie.
Anyway, yo, we out here wilding, yo. It's just live, bro.
Well, no. Look, like I said, I know you're busy, Reggie, but like I was saying, real
I'm
quick.
not busy. We're just hanging out.
I know. But like I was saying, man, like, you know, in the court of public opinion and the rankings, I can't see where Dak just straight up avoids you without facing some type of, you know, whether it's from the fans or what. But like, I can't see a situation like where he can't duck you. There's just no way.
He can't. I can see every situation where he tries to duck him. Reggie, tell me more about how he's going to try to duck you.
What do you mean? I mean, he's given and thrown out every excuse possible in the book. I mean, there's nothing else more that you can say. And at this point, and I told him, I said, you know what? I congratulated him. Everybody act like I jumped in there on some rah-rah, you know, bullshit. I said, congratulations on your victory, but you know that those belts are not yours. You can hold on to them, and if you beat me, then I will call you champion. Plain and simple. He's just the belt holder, just like Johnny was the belt holder. Johnny wasn't the champion. He was just the belt holder.
Who is this? It's not avoiding Reggie. It's money if people wanted to see that fight.
All right, Viet, whoever you are.
I think people do want to see the fight. I think
what the fuck are you talking about, bro? You need to, like, there's another keyboard warrior who doesn't even know what he's talking about. The fans already want to see.
I think it is a money fight.
Don't give him any more airtime.
Oh no, yeah, I mean, for real. I think Reggie and Dat. I think that could headline a card anywhere.
Facts.
I really do.
Everywhere.
And I'll beat his ass. Look, man, we can run it twice in one night. I'll beat him up with the gloves on, and then we can take him off and do it bare knuckle just to solidify what I already know, that I'm a better fighter than him in any facet.
I appreciate the hell out of that.
Facts.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother.
He tries so hard to discredit me. And it's like, why, dude? All I want is to be successful in life like you do. And I take nothing away from you wanting to be successful. But at the same time, this is blood sport, right? And you can't say you're the best without beating the true motherfucking best. Somebody comment, oh, Johnny beat you, so that shouldn't have to fight you. What fucking sense does that make? Any given Saturday, two different men, a fight could go a different way.
Right. Fight math doesn't add up. Yeah.
Right? So that argument itself, oh, Johnny already whooped you, that doesn't need to. What the fuck? That has nothing to do with anything.
I agree.
Me and Johnny's fight was a separate entity in itself. And to be honest, Johnny knows, the world knows, I'm not the same fighter that got in the square circle.
Right. Goddamn, that's almost 2 years ago now.
Fight. I am not that fighter anymore. I'm not that man anymore.
Yeah.
The hunger is different. The passion is different. The technique, everything is different. I have grown, right? And so that claim in itself is bullshit. I'm not fucking beneath you. I'm still above you. And you went around me to make yourself feel like you were better than me. In actuality, you ain't shit until you fight me. And if he doesn't fight me, which is cool, because I'm not going to chase him. You know, I have other things, other entities and stuff that I'm working on in my life, you know, to help continue to inspire people and project positivity and use my platform the right way. I'm not going to chase him, right? And I said this before, and please share this, make a quote of it, whatever. If Dat Gwynn does not fight me before he retires from fighting, that belt he just won and everything that he accomplishes from that point forward is null and void.
I appreciate what you're saying, but I feel like you should have said if Dat Nguyen doesn't fight you before like next week, then like that title doesn't fucking count.
No. I don't even. It's not even like next week. Blah 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 blah. Period. And then two, you gotta stand on the shit that you said. That right. He has to stand on the shit that he said. I didn't start the war of words involving our personal lives. It was you that said I needed to fight you because my wife needed the money. Those were your exact words. And you can say it and try to twist it and spin it however the fuck you want to, but you was calling me a poor nigga. That's what you was trying to do. And I will stand up for my family, and I will stand up for myself. Because it's not about money. It's about fucking principality. I got money. I own a gym. I got a day job. I got family and friends. Money has never been the issue. It's principality and legacy. I started in this fucking sport.
I don't know.
Who is this idiot? Hey, look, I'm going to do you even better, yo. What was it? It was 1720 Lambert Court, Suite C, Chesapeake, Virginia, 23320. I am there every fucking day from 5:30 to 9 o'clock. Come see me if you feel that gully.
I'm a restaurant owner too.
And if you need to call and find me, you know, just shoot me a message on my gram.
Is this Dat trolling? Is this Dat right here trolling? I don't know.
It's Dat trolling. I think it is Dat trolling.
Probably. Why would you think it would be?
So.
Wow.
Like, come on.
Yo, Dat, if it's you, bro, I'll send you a link if you want to hop on, man. We can talk.
Boy.
And you know what? And I was respectful tonight. I didn't call him a bitch or nothing. You know, I didn't be like, yo, see, you making excuses because you're a bitch. I didn't say anything or nothing like that. I said, you have 6 months to make up your mind. You have 6 months to recover and make up your mind. And if you don't in those 6 months, then the world knows you're a fucking coward. And everything that you accomplish and everything you do from that point on means nothing.
Big facts.
Birds.
If I lose, I lose. And I will accept my loss as a man, humbly and like you're supposed to. If he can beat me, which is not fucking possible on this planet. Right? But I'm a man. I stand on my shit. You said you were gonna slap me the next time you see me. You saw me. You did absolutely nothing. Right? You said you was gonna put me to sleep, but every time they talk about us fighting, you make an excuse for it not to happen. So how the fuck are you gonna put me to sleep if you ain't even gonna fight me?
Look, if that's you, dude, I put the link in the chat. Go click on that link.
What? What's up?
I'm just saying.
Give me like 5. Start the car and warm it up. We going to Tampa?
We going.
Whatever.
Huh?
Is that something? As long as I'm at the airport by 4:30, I'm Gucci, y'all. Y'all can do whatever y'all want.
Trying to see if
Anyway.
this is really that.
You know, and then what's crazy is like the people. Maybe I was wrong. They were like, "Oh, it's a little cringy, Reggie getting in the ring." Blah 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 blah. You know, I even went and spoke to Dad's children after the fight. I said, "Congratulations to your family. You should be very proud of your dad for his accomplishments." Right, but remind him that he needs to be a man and stand on the things that he said, because that's how he teaches y'all to be men. And I walked away. I didn't give him a chance for rebuttal or whatever, because
they don't know what that means, but like every human being that has grown past the age of, we'll say, 20 knows what the fuck that means, Reggie. And if you aren't just diving to the deepest levels of psychological manipulation to get a fight with somebody, I don't know what it is that you're doing. But what I can see, my perspective, is that if you're going to go to a man's children and insult that man's manlyhood,
I didn't insult his manlyhood.
No. That's the point, is you didn't insult anything. You questioned his gentleman. You simply put a doubt in his children's mind as to what type of human being their father is. And I'm not entirely sure you understand the psychological effects of the type of situation you've just put on those children. But if Dad is any type of intelligent human being, he would punch you in your fucking mouth every time he saw you.
I'm cool with it. Bring it. Bring it. They stopped me. He said, "Hey, what's up, Reggie?" And I said, "Hey, congratulations to you and your family," and what I said. And that was the end of it. That wasn't anything disrespectful.
No, not at all. That's the point. Is you are the, I won't say the most respectful human being I've ever come across, but you are in the top 10. And that's the point, is you don't have to disrespect anybody. That's what's beautiful about what it is that you do and what it is that you say, is you don't have to insult anyone. You don't have to downsize anyone. All you have to do is state facts. And those facts stand out. Those facts state place. And that's why we're having this conversation with you, Reggie. Like, that's why we're here. Because you belong in that place. You belong in that position. And we, frankly, I think everybody
She sent the motherfucker to me.
Hey guys, I'm gonna finish this interview while you're right. I feel like after everything that has transpired, everything that is said and done, as a man, you would want to silence me to prove your point. You know, if the shoe was on the other foot, you know, me as a man, I'd be like, you know what? Since you really feel like you're that way and I'm the champ, I'm gonna prove I'm the champ, and we can get this taken care of, and we can both move forward with our life. But you know what? Like I said, Dad's not built like that. We know he's not built like that. Maybe he will have a great change of heart in the future. We'll see. We know who's next in line. I'm not going to sit here and, like I said, I'm not going to continue to chase after him and blah, blah, blah. 6 months. I have other stuff to do. See, what the world doesn't know, and I got a chance to share this, I am the only other the only BKFC fighter that is a champion in another sport.
Facts.
only fighter on the roster that is a current champion in another sport. I am the current USBU champion, and I was supposed to defend my belt in December. And I got the call to fight that on 3 weeks' notice for that bullshit-ass interim world title, which wasn't even for me. It was to make that take the fight. I didn't care about the title. And even now, really, I'm taking the belts, but the principalities, I'm going to beat your ass for what you said and to prove to you what I said. I'm the better fighter. But I'm the only current champion in the league right now. You know? So how am I beneath you? What? What?
I don't know who Vietnam is, but he's in full negotiation for you, bro. He's ready for you to take over.
It's not about this shit is like it's crazy, like the outside projection on my goals and what I'm trying to do for my legacy, whatever it is. What? Yo, this dude is a trip, yo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, the dude, it says Vietnam.
His name's fucking Vietnam. The guy's not even from Vietnam. Like, that was not from Vietnam, guys.
Yeah.
Oh man, this shit crazy.
Well, I tell you what, man, Reggie, I hope you get the fight, man, because I mean, just
Open to 6.
Hold on, you didn't let me finish though, right?
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So I was supposed to defend my USBU belt in December.
Okay.
And I got the call from Bare Knuckle that Johnny was injured and to fight that. So we went back to Germany and asked him, could I get a waive on my title defense? And he gave me a waive and promoted me from being the regional champion to the world champion. And I just paid of course, money is always I paid the extra sanctioning for me to have the other title. And now I didn't get the fight with that. So you know what they said? You have to defend my belt now. I have till May to defend my belt or I lose that title.
Right.
So that fucks me all the way around. So you're telling me I don't get a title shot at something that I earned because you're not man enough to fight me, and I risk losing something that I worked hard for, that I did earn, that I could have defended, But I'm bare knuckle all the way. That's where my heart is first. I'm a box because that's what I've been doing all my life, and I'm not done fighting. I love fighting, but it's like shit. So throw me a bone, I have till May, so he's got 6 months to make up his mind whether he's gonna fight me or not. And in all honesty, in my heart, push comes to shove, I'll give up the USBU ranking just to make sure I fight that. And not even on the
stop. Reggie, shut up. Reggie, shut up. Stop. No. What you should be saying right now is, in all honesty, I'll beat the fuck out of anybody who wants to try to fight me for my fucking title, and I'll beat the fuck out of Dat Nguyen whenever the fuck he wants smoke. Like, stop, bro. You are in a position of power, not in a position of fucking absence. Stop. Shut up.
You know what? By the end of this year, I'll be a 2-time world champion. Plain and simple.
Yes.
That is the goal.
Yes.
That is the goal. It does not matter when it happens, how it happens. By the end of 2021, Reggie Easy Educated Hands Jr. will have been a 2-time world champion. Great.
Beautiful.
Whatever Dak decides to do with himself in the meantime, Dak can do. I don't care. What I eat doesn't make him shit. Vice versa.
Well,
the man has spoken.
The man has spoken. Well, I hope you get it, Reggie. I do, brother. So I hope it. I think as a fan, it's a fight I think everybody wants to see. And then on top of that, I think it's the right fight. From a rankings perspective, I think it's the right fight to make. So It has to happen.
All right, so
That ball is not in my court.
I know.
Everybody knows where I stand on that.
no, it is. It is. It's official. I call it. It's official. BKFC 16. Reggie Barnett Jr. versus Daniel 135-pound championship. I call
I don't even care about like the title and all that shit. Bro, I've had plenty of those. It's nice to have, but at the end of the day, I'm looking for 135-pound supremacy.
I mean that requires.
And when I beat that, right? If Johnny comes back down to 135, that'll be the only person in the weight class that I have not beat. And Johnny has already expressed his, feelings on possibly moving up to 145. Where will he go now? I don't really know. Who knows? I know the Johnny that showed up tonight was in one of the best shapes of his life, but I think he sacrificed a little bit, making sure that he was in that kind of shape because he looked like he gasped a little early.
Yeah, he did look good. So I feel like he's trying to build up to 45. For sure. For sure.
Interesting. Well,
but regardless, right? You can't look at even in my loss. Even in the loss to Johnny, I wasn't nowhere near as sloppy as those two tonight. that was like a bar fight. I'm not that type of bare knuckle fighter. You're not gonna make me fight that way. I've learned.
I said earlier that the two fighters that showed up tonight were looking for a barn brawl. They were looking for a scrap. They were looking for a fight. Said that the Reggie, the educated hands that we know that shows up, doesn't brawl. He doesn't do that. The one time he did that was against the champ, and he's now the former champ, and he's learned from those mistakes. So, yeah, I think that that matchup is going to be very difficult for anybody at the 135-pound division.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I like I said, broken record, but it needs to happen. It should happen, and I think that's all there is to it. It should happen. It better happen. I think it's going to happen. I think it might just require a little bit of patience, and I think he's saying to get with David to push for it. I think it's going to happen. I think David's going to want to see that fight. I think the fans want to see it. But man, Reggie, I tell you what, brother, I appreciate it, man. We got to touch base sometime soon.
Yeah, I'll be home. I'll be home tomorrow. Just hit me up anytime. We can be halfway, whatever you want to do, dog. Be halfway, get some lunch, chop it up.
For sure.
Meals, whatever. Brian, I'm coming up to Roanoke in April.
Holla at your boy. You already know. You're always welcome to. Yes, sir. You're always welcome in my gym at any point in time.
We're jumping up there, period, at the end of April. I already told my girls I was taking them back up to the Natural Bridge, so it makes no sense to not stop in and see you in Dallas, so I'll be up there.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, just let me know, and you already know we can link up and chop it up and do what we do.
There it is. My man Reggie, we're gonna let you go, man. But look, let's touch base. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you guys so much. Hey, Tom.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for being a big brother like always.
Love you.
100.
Take care, bud.
Brian, love you guys. Y'all be safe.
Yes, sir.
But oh shit, we're all moved around here.
We're getting crazy in here.
We're getting crazy. Yeah, I need to come out your way too, Brian, because because I went and saw I went to Reggie's gym because I'm in Richmond, so I still need to I need to come out and see you guys, you and Britton and who else is in this area for Virginia. Well, I know Zion and
Zion and his dad's here.
Yeah. I need to come and just spend a whole fucking day and just maybe just do some shit.
Hey, just let me know. I'm with it. You know, I'll just take the day off work or something, or if it's on the weekend or something, we can get it in.
Can I pause you guys for a second?
No, Tom, you can't. We're talking here. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Tom.
Got him.
What's up, buddy?
So, Reg came in.
Yeah.
And totally interrupted the fact that we were talking about the main event. We never really completed our analysis of the main event.
Well, I think the main event, it kind of spoke for itself. You know, I think we kind of touched the nail on the head or hit the nail on the head where it was like Britain did what she needed to do. Paige came in. I think she kind of maybe not necessarily underestimated Britain per se, but I think she underestimated the sport. I think she underestimated what she was doing. You know what I mean? And Britain did what she needed to do. She fought her game, and you know, I loved it, man. You know, I thought it was great. I have to support my Virginia people, man. I know it's biased, but I have to. I got to support my Virginia people. It's my home, and I'm proud of her. I mean, I'm proud of everybody, but I'm proud she went there and did her thing, and you know, got the dub and didn't let all this pressure, you know, get to her, which anybody could have fell to. I mean, there's a lot of eyeballs, you know, and she went in there and did her thing, and just I mean,
I think if that's the one thing we take away from Knucklemania is the rocky story that was Braden Hart. You know, she called Paige out. She asked for this fight. She asked for this challenge, and she stepped up to it. You know, a lot of us, me included, had our doubts. You know, a lot of people thought that this was going to be a gimme situation. And a lot of people thought that the BKFC was going to just feed Paige people, you know, just feed her opponents and get their money's worth. You know, it.
Well, I mean, Dave said himself. I mean, he didn't try to hide it. You know, when I remember when they first signed Paige, I interviewed Dave, and I asked him. I was like, you know, I imagine, Dave, you're not going to want to, like, you know, you're not going to want to fucking put her in there with somebody like a bare knuckle veteran, right? He's like, oh, no, you know, no. We don't want to do that. We want to find, you know, maybe some other MMA person, you know, and it just to let her kind of get that one fight under her belt before, you know, giving her to somebody like that. I think obviously this was, it was probably a bad move. I think, because, you know.
Well, like I said in a previous interview, you know, I said, because apparently there was discussion as to whether Paige should fight Jenny Savage or Britt. And I said, well, if you want to test Jenny, you have her fight Paige. If you want to test Paige, you have her fight Britt. And I think that's what tonight proved. And I think that's what Britt proved, is that hard work and perseverance will always persevere over a name, over a title, you know, over publicity. I mean, whatever you want to call it, you know, I mean, everybody had this excitement and this anticipation for Paige to come in and do whatever Paige,
just to see what she was going to do. Yeah.
Right. Whatever it is she was supposed to do. And Britt said, no, this is my spot. This is my place. I don't care what y'all like. There was a moment in her pre-fight interview where she said, I'm not trying to build a $7 million house.
Right.
She's not.
Right.
I don't know if she is, but I'm pretty sure what she meant by that was she's not trying to build anything other than a name and a place in history. And I think tonight she proved that to everybody. Because, like I said, I'll be the first to tell you, I doubted her. I didn't think she was going to do well. I really didn't. Saw the weigh-ins, I thought she was going to get beat up.
Well, let me ask you guys this.
She did great.
Let me ask you guys this. Kind of it has to do with this. It's related, but so I think on one hand, from a business perspective, Paige comes in. She lost her first fight. It's not the end of the world, but does it damage her a little bit? Maybe, in the court of public opinion. But I also think too that for Britt, the hometown girl, the BKFC girl, the boxing versus MMA world, however you want to look at, whatever angle you want to look at, the home team, BKFC, kind of proved, hey, one of our stars beat one of the UFC stars. You can look at it from that angle, and I think from
great, yeah,
from that perspective, if I was
Dave, no, if you really look at it, like first it was Paulie with Artem, like now don't get me wrong, Artem's garbage, and Paulie probably didn't have the best game plan, but still, you have an MMA fighter fighting a boxer in bare knuckle and winning. And now you have a bare knuckle veteran fighting a UFC fighter who is a veteran.
Yeah.
And winning.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that bare knuckle is a completely different type of evolution of combat sports.
Yeah.
That people don't understand.
I hope she fucking gets paid after this.
Whole new platform of combat sports that everybody is trying to figure out.
I'd be asking for a little more cheddar.
That's the way we can figure this out.
Would I be wrong if I was in Britain's shoes? Would I be wrong? I just beat Paige VanZant. This next fight contract, like, no, wait a second now.
She got $400,000 for her last one. Like,
I just beat her, so
right.
Let me get a little more bread this go around.
Right.
That's fair, right?
That's my point. Is she just eliminated that stigma of I'm just a stepping stone. She put herself in the position of I want my stance in history. I want my place in this bare knuckle situation. She came in against the two baddest women we've ever seen fight in bare knuckle. Beck Rawlings and
Christine Ferrer. Yeah.
Yes, Christina Ferrer. So let's go. Like, we've established that Beck and Christine have beaten Britt. Britt beat Paige. Let's all right, go build Paige for a second. Let's pull Britt back. I mean, let's pull Christina and the one from Australia,
Beck Rawlings.
Beck. Let's pull back, and let's fucking build that up. Like, I'm pretty sure that Britt just established she's the baddest person in that division. Plain and simple. Like, nobody else is in it right now. Nobody else is there. She just put her staple in that division. So pull Christine back, or pull what's her name from Chicago, who has the title, just fought for like LFA or Invicta.
Helen Peralta. I don't think
Peralta. Yes.
Technically, I don't think she's been. I don't think she's with the company anymore. Technically, I think the belt's
I think she's gone. The belt's open.
So then Britt has just established, like, she's a dominant force.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair statement.
Paychecks. To get back to what you were saying, yeah. Give them paychecks.
Christine's injured. Christine won't be back till May or June. You know, she's rehabbing a shoulder or shoulder arm or something. You know, I don't even know. I don't know where do you go from here? Like who does Britain fight? She just beat Paige VanZant.
Well, what was that? What was the Taylor
Starling?
Yeah, and
Teresa Sagala.
I think she needs to fight. I think she needs to fight Jenny Savage.
What fight was that? What? Wait, no, Brian, no. You don't fucking get on stage and act like an arrogant fucking cunt and just get a fight. Like, no, unacceptable.
Well, no. Tom, I think on that note, it's 3:15 a.m. East Coast time. I think we're going to close it out, my friend. About that time.
Did I ruin the moment? Did I ruin it?
No. The moment was coming anyway. But yeah, no, I to a certain extent, I don't like if Britain just beat Paige VanZant. I don't think your next fight is to fight Jenny Savage. I just don't. Even the water thing aside, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Like what has Jenny done? Let's look at what Jenny's done. She's won a handful of MMA fights, and she had one fight in the bare knuckle organization against Sheena Starr, who we all know I love, but is not a professional fighter. She's just not. Her hobby is professional fighting. What she does is she's a professional cut woman. She looks into regulations. She looks into rules. She like what she really does. She should be like, she should work for the commission and then also cut in the part-time. What she decided to do was fight Jenny Savage. So Jenny to have this one fight, no, wrong.
Well, I will say, Nick, it's a little different. Like Britain got the Paige fight call, but like Britain called out Paige after her win with Paige ringside. Jenny went into the ring from the crowd and threw water onto Britain after Britain's fight.
And
like,
didn't
I think that's
completely didn't even use words, like no vocalization.
That's two different things.
Just I'm an infant. Here's some water.
Hey, that shit was cold blooded though.
It was really cold.
It was ridiculous.
But guys, I tell you what, I can't say thank you enough for you guys coming on and chatting with me. I fucking love this. I have a good time.
Yeah, boy.
I really do.
Yeah.
We need to do this way more often than we do. Brian Maxwell.
I think we beat our record. I think we beat our record from last time.
I think so. Brian Maxwell, Tom Schoaf. It was a hell of a night. Knucklemania was a great show. It lived up to the hype. Hopefully our show lived up to the hype. I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know.
Hey, we lit it out though. We talked about some good shit and we told everybody how we feel, and that's what we're supposed to do. And if that doesn't get your attention, oh well.
That's it. I had a good time. That's all I got. And give these guys a follow, Mr. Brian Maxwell, Mr. Tom Schoaf. Go check them out. They're all over the place.
Yes, we are.
Mustache Mafia, Mr. Red Rims. They're all
The
over.
Red
the fucking
Rims will be back soon. Just so y'all know, Mr. Red
There
Rims
it
will be
is.
back
There it
Monday.
is. Guys, if you like the stream, please like it, please share it, and that's all we got. We out this business.